Hello and welcome to another session of the Agile Recruiter. It's a platform where I share my insights as a recruiter while also learning from other recruiters, their achievements and the challenges that they face in the recruitment industry. In this session, I actually wanted to do a short video and talk about recruiting during COVID-19 and how it is actually pushing recruiters to innovate and reinvent their style of recruiting. Simply put, if you don't adapt during this time, you will risk out on losing top talent to your competitors. And if you belong to an organization who is currently restructuring the recruitment process or transitioning, it's completely fine to be overwhelmed by all the different platforms out there, by all the different tech that's out there. So in this short video, I just wanted to give a few tips and tricks that might help you with your recruitment strategy. Now, the first one's actually very simple, is engaging job ads. What I mean by that is basically avoid any sort of generic language, generic terms that don't really paint a very clear picture for the applicant, that they don't understand what they're getting into. Thoroughly outline like what the roles and responsibilities are, what a day would look like, what they're getting into, so they're more comfortable applying, right? What you can do, I believe during this time, it's very important to establish some sort of a personal connection with the applicant. So you can do a lot of things. For example, you can add a video job description to your ad. You can ask your hiring manager or other relevant team members to create small videos telling about your company culture, company benefits, roles and responsibilities of that particular role, and what growth looks like in that role, right? It's not just a fun way to actually engage with your talent, but in the same process, you're actually elevating your company brand as well. The second thing I would say is actually restructuring your recruitment process, right? Obviously, it can't be the same. Everything that you had on site, such as face-to-face interviews, one-on-one interviews, assessment centers, everything has to now be virtual. So a lot of things have to change. So you have to clearly define what is the new process, who is in charge of the new process, who is involved in the new process, who is responsible for which task, and how much time is a task going to take, right? So what does a model look like from start to finish? Remember, it has to be a very smooth recruitment process with everyone being on board, from the recruiters to ops to hiring managers, everyone, right? Everyone has to be on the same page. Because remember, during this time, candidate experience is really important. And if you were to offer a very poor sort of recruitment experience, you will have a high offer rejection rate from your candidates. Keeping that in mind, the third thing that I want to talk about is basically really working with your hiring manager. Now that it's a different process, you have to really work with them in terms of what does good look like? What does bad look like? What are the must-haves? What are the nice-to-haves? What are the red flags? What is your ideal golden, silver, or poor candidates, right? So there's no last-minute surprises and there's no two schools of thought. Everyone is on the same page. Yeah, this is what an ideal candidate looks like. This is what we're going to go after. This is what the next best thing looks like. This is what we're going to go after. This is the personality or something that we are going to completely avoid that does not fit with our company culture, right? Another point is basically utilizing video interviews. When I say that, I do realize that video interviews have been there for a really long time now. But what's important is basically where do they come into your recruitment process and what step do they come in and how do you utilize them? Because basically there are different types of video interviews there is. You could just send them a one-way video interview where they just answer questions and record their answers, right? You could do a panel Zoom interview, right? You could not do your phone screening anymore, and instead of that, you could actually just do a one-way video interview. So you have to really decide, okay, instead of this process, this is going to come in, right? And because of this, just ask yourself, why am I doing this? Do you feel like by doing this, are you going to get the most information out of your applicant? Are you going to really see, because of this process, that are they a perfect fit for your company? The last step that I would really say is basically giving them feedback, right? What I mean by that is during these times, it's really important that once you actually get in touch with the candidate, whether it be through phone screening, an engagement call after they've done a one-way interview, whatever your process is basically to in detail go through, hey, this is what the recruitment process is going to look like. It's going to be this many steps. Each step has this much time difference in between. For example, a 1 week, 2 weeks, or whatever, so they know exactly where they are in the process. They know when to expect an outcome. They know when that you'll be getting in touch with them, right? And other than that, be very upfront and honest with them regarding their status. For example, if they're a backup, tell them that they're a backup. If they are not successful, tell them that they're not successful, with obviously giving them feedback. Don't beat around the bush. Tell them upfront, honest, so they can then apply for other opportunities that might be in the market at that time. Applicants and candidates really would love that transparency from you, right? Another thing, just before I go, I would like to add, because during this time, video interviews are a huge thing. Everyone's doing them, right? So you can actually go one step further and send your candidates a video interviews do's and don'ts, right? What to do, what not to do. This is how you're gonna put like your best foot forward. This is how you're gonna make a great impression. This is how you're gonna make a very poor impression. So your candidates who are not familiar with doing video interviews will actually go like, yeah, this company really cares. This company is actually really setting me up for success, right? And they will take that not just for like doing your video interview, but whatever other opportunities that they might have. So it creates a very good sort of impression of your organization out there in the market. Now, these were just a few points. I'm sure there are many more, but as I said, it's going to be a very short video. If there are more points that you would like to add, feel free to get in touch with me. But for now, this is the Agile Recruiter. Thank you so much for your time.